this year was just to kind of, we want to really up the quality of our content this year. So was the most important thing, so we really get that shit going. But shit, Atlanta, you born and raised out here? Do you live out here?
No, California originally.
California,
man. Yeah, the Bay Area, East Bay Area. That's where I'm from. I went to school out there. First 18 years of my life was out in California. Yeah.
First 18 years.
Yep.
Yeah, it was kind of like that with me too. I was in New Hampshire 22 years, and I was like, fuck that, man. It's cold as fuck up there. But California's nice. Well, what about you, California or Atlanta? I feel like California's like, the weather is nicer in Atlanta. But I guess weather's not like everybody's main choice or place to live, except for me. So
California weather. Back then, because shit, dude. I'm fucking 30 years old, dude. So that was like,
hey, when I was still young, got a lot of life.
When I was growing up there, the weather was pretty chill. It was never like, it would get hot, I guess, but not like it fucking does out here, dude. Like out here, shit is ridiculous, man. But
it's more like it's humidity out here.
Oh yeah,
it's a lot crazier.
Shit. Because you're in North Carolina right now, right? So,
yeah,
but what brought me to Georgia was, me enlisting in the military at 18 or 17 and then leaving at 18. So, yeah.
Yeah, I did see. I didn't know you were a military guy. What got you into the military at 18?
Dude, all my friends we all played airsoft together, and we were like, man, it'd be cool if we like went and did this shit for real. And we were like, God damn it, here we are. No shit, there we were in Afghanistan. Some of them went to Iraq, but yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like between Afghanistan and Iraq, yeah. So
how long were you out in Afghanistan for?
9 months.
9 months.
9 months.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know some people who were like do 4 tours over there. And it's
I wanted to do a second one, but and actually I had extended to go on a second one, but then the company that they had moved me into, they ended up not deploying. So I'm like, all right, I'm getting the fuck out.
What was it like when you got over there to Afghanistan for the first time? Getting on the plane from the United States, going over to a foreign country you never been to before.
Yeah, man.
Never mind all the stories and stigma that's around Afghanistan.
Yeah, literally. I went September 2012 to 2013. And like we were getting there like kind of towards the end of fighting season, because like the end of fighting season is like the winter time.
Yeah, they chill out in the winter.
And that shit's like a myth, dude. They're still lurking around out there and shit. We still, we were still getting into some little scuffles and shit when it was still cold outside and shit. That snow is not going to stop them. But no, like getting, going there and shit. I'd lie if I told you I wasn't like a little bit scared.
I'd be
anxiety was setting in a little bit, but at the same time though, I deployed with like a really good infantry company, and like I trusted all my guys that I was with and shit like that, my platoon especially. So, like all the train ups and shit. I was in what they call garrison, which is just like stateside, training for a year and a half. So, I was confident like in everything that I had been taught up until that point, so, it's like time to go out there and fucking execute,
Yeah.
So that's basically what it was. And just for context, I was, for, anybody watching, I was in 11 Bravo, which is an infantryman. So
wait, what branch of the military?
Army.
Yeah.
Army. Yeah. So, yeah, as part of the 1st Battalion, 187th Infantry Regiment, Rakkasans, as they're called.
What are the
tattooed right here?
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Definitely want to go over some of your tattoos.
Yeah.
That's
pretty cool.
I love tattoos, as you can tell.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
You couldn't have those in the military, could you?
Hell no.
Nah?
Not on the hands.
Is that one of the first things you do when you got out?
Dude, tattooed my hands. Literally, probably like a year after I got out, I was like, all right, I'm gonna get hand tattoos.
Yeah.
Because like the other thing too was, like once I realized, like I started going to like a music school called the Atlanta Institute of Music, and I was like, all right, this is what I want to do.
Do you do that on like the GI Bill?
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah, fortunately.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do, I think, for like a good portion of my life. Mm-hmm. So like the hand tattoos are coming because I don't want, no plan Bs, man.
Yeah.
Like this is what I want to do.
So you were there for so you got out at 19 in the military?
I got out when I was 20, because I joined when I was 17, left when I was 18. I was 20 when I went to Afghanistan, and I had my 21st birthday there. I got out when I was, I think, 23. Yeah, because it's about 7 years ago now.
Okay.
So I was like, 23.
So when did you start going to Atlanta Institute of Music?
2017. So I was like 25 at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where's the what were you kind of doing between the military and going to school for music?
Dude,
do you know what you wanted to do? Do you have an idea?
I knew what I wanted to do, but like when I first got out, I was like super fucking lazy, to be quite honest with you. And like, I knew I wanted to do music, but like, I didn't know how to go about pursuing it, even though I had like little projects here and there that I was like pursuing while simultaneously watching like Facebook rappers and shit, which the little scene I was watching was like a bunch of horrorcore dudes and shit, you know, like the Juggalo crowd and all that type of shit. So, after that, I was like, I gave it some thought, and I was like trying to rap here and there. None of it was good. But eventually I got to the point where I recorded like my first demo in 2017 and put that out, and it was under the name Sinizter, and it just stuck. It just stuck. So I just fucking kept it. Even after switching into like, you know, the more aggressive trap shit like the following year, which totally suited me way better than, you know, the horrorcore shit. So, but yeah.
So you always kind of, even when you were military, had an idea that you might want to be interested in music? Or?
Yeah, no, well, yeah, even before that, because shit, I forgot to mention, I've got a long history of like fronting metal bands when I was in California as a teenager and shit. So that part, like doing the actual like songwriting and all that shit, that none of that was new. But yeah, so like fronting bands, performing live and all that shit, I had already done a lot of that stuff.
You already had a lot of experience in that.
So, but like rapping was a completely different ball game, because I couldn't obviously like do metal vocals on like, I mean, maybe some people do that, but I didn't want to, I don't know, it comes off kind of cringy sometimes, you know? So I had to kind of develop like a more aggressive style for myself that like made sense, you know, from what I was doing.
Come on.
Let's get this guy over here.
Yeah, chill. We're going to chill and do this interview. So you were just like fronting metal, you playing instruments?
No,
No,
straight just like vocals and everything. Like I just kind of started making sounds one day, growling, screaming and shit. And like eventually, you know, some of my friends were like, yo, that's sick. Like you should front, you know, our band and shit. So that's kind of how it started. And then like once that band kind of broke up, that band was called Gutted Remains. There was another band that I had like tried out for that was like a little bit bigger in the area. They were from Walnut Creek, California. And they were called Immortus. They were kind of like more established, like I said, and like definitely like more extreme metal and shit. So they needed a front man. So I tried out for them, and they were like, yeah, dude, you're sick. And so I fronted them for like a year. And that was like the last band I was in before I left for the Army.
So how did the sound you have now come together? Because like you said, like you were saying before, it's kind of, you weren't really good at rapping, but like the style of music you do isn't really rap.
Yeah.
It's like the newer style. It's like almost like metal has kind of made a comeback through hip hop like format, if that makes sense.
Oddly enough,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, so how would you say that your sound came together? It's not rap. It's not metal. It's really just an influence of
like,
both.
I just call it like aggressive rap, I guess. But so I've always been like a fan of hip hop and trap, like Atlanta trap from like the early 2000s and shit. So like Bone Crusher, Ludacris, and all that type of shit. But like obviously I like DMX quite a bit.
Yeah, DMX was yelling before everybody.
Yep, exactly.
DMX yelling for beats for everybody.
Dude, that's the original scream rapper. And you know what the crazy part is? He's not even like his voice sounds like that.
Yeah,
like halfway sounds like that. So it's like he's not even really trying, you know. But yeah, he's aggressive rap style and shit, dude. Like that definitely influenced it a hell of a lot. Same with like Waka Flocka and shit. So I basically kind of took that blueprint and applied it to like kind of what I was doing with metal. So I'm thinking like I want to do kind of like this like hybrid of like hype trap shit and like, you know, adding a little bit, you know, more metal that like makes sense and like rapping over like aggressive trap beats and shit. And that was kind of how it started. I didn't really have too many songs like catch on. I really didn't even start catching on, honestly, until like last year. You know, which is probably when like fucking Drew noticed me, was like last year. That's like when everybody started noticing me, was last year. But I had been at it for like a couple years before that. So
what was your first time recording like? Because did you record in high school when you fronted bands? Did you guys actually record any actual songs?
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Yeah, there's like, you can go find that shit on YouTube, Bandcamp, all that shit. Yeah, no, you can find all that shit like on, like I said, YouTube, Bandcamp, for multiple bands too. But yeah, my first time recording was with Gutted Remains. It was like an old death metal band I was in. It was the very first one. And I was recording in a bathroom.
Really?
Like a really tiny bathroom, yeah. And I had all my shit like handwritten on paper at the time, like in like a book.
Oh yeah, phones weren't really
before the age of smartphones, man. So yeah, that was interesting. I'm like in there holding the fucking book and shit and trying to read my lyrics. Whereas like now I'm like, I got my fucking iPhone in front of me. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of, I mean, it was fluent. Like the engineer was like good. So he kind of like helped me through, like coach me through like, what I'm supposed to do at the time, cause it like, we're not in like a booth, but yeah. I've never been to an actual studio before.
Really?
Yeah. Never recorded ever in my life.
I feel like that's like
in a studio.
The theme now.
Yeah.
People are just more comfortable at home.
Yeah,
more comfortable at their friend's little bedroom studio.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's like where technology has gotten and how accessible technology is to newer artists. It just doesn't make sense to spend all that money on a fucking studio.
Hell no. Nah. And I mean, dude, yeah, it saves on recording time and like shit, having been to, like once I went to the Atlanta Institute of Music and shit and like learned how to use Pro Tools and shit and like mix and shit. That's when like everything really started coming full circle. Like I started like mixing and mastering some of my own shit and like being able to just drop right away, whenever I wanted to and shit. So that was a game changer for sure.
It's
dude,
like
he's fighting over there.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to chill.
He's just mad curious.
So how was it like when you started to record over like an actual like a beat for the first time, like a more like hip hop based beat? How was that different from recording like a metal track?
I mean, the songwriting's a little bit different, because I feel like on metal tracks you can kind of get away with like not rhyming ever. Yeah. Really, because like you're kind of slurring your words a lot of the time, depending on the style of metal that you're doing. You don't really have to worry about rhyming shit. Honestly, sometimes you don't even really have to worry about lyrics that much. But yeah, I mean with like hip hop and shit, the vocal is kind of like a real standout point. People give a fuck about what you're saying. Like what you're saying matters, the rhymes matter, the flows matter. So it is a lot different. And I don't want to necessarily say it was like difficult because, depends on the type of beat you're rapping on. But yeah, it was a complete change of pace though, for sure. Going from like metal to rapping on like beats and shit.
How was the difference in the creative process as well? Because I know like a lot of rock songs and a lot of metal based songs, sometimes they start out with the words first, sometimes they start off with a little guitar riff. When it's more like rap and hip hop based stuff, you hear the beat and you're like, all right.
Yeah,
you know
for sure.
What I mean? Are you right to the beat?
Yeah.
So just the difference in the creative process, what's that like?
Well, I mean, it's weird because like for me personally, like I definitely had to change up a lot of the content that I was going to be, because I mean it's hip hop at its core, like what you're doing is rapping, you know what I mean? So, I went from, talking about a bunch of like gore shit, from like metal and all that shit to like now having to kind of, I don't really rap consciously all the time, but I mean, got to be a little bit more concerned with what I rap about and shit, make it a little bit more impactful, meaningful, or, like if I do like a hype ignorant song, it's got to be like relatable, know, relatability is like a huge thing. And sometimes I think even now, like when I look at some of like new underground artists and shit that come out, I feel like, I mean, I don't know, like, I'm not trying to badmouth anybody or anything like that, but I mean, you know what I mean? But it's like, there's a lot of like this like anime style rap shit, like I feel like, I don't know, at least for me, it's not super relatable. I mean, it's cool or whatever, but
a lot of like the SoundCloud scene, I kind of get what you're getting at. A lot of SoundCloud scene, like SoundCloud rap is kind of dying off.
Well, it's like when you take something, I kind of mean like, maybe I'm talking more like anime rap. Like I see a lot of that, and it's kind of like a rapper or an artist is taking something that already exists and just rapping about it. I feel like there's a little bit of lack of creativity there, because you're not really coming up with the concept. The concept already exists. You're just talking about it. You know what I mean? So, but I mean, you could do whatever you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah.
So, what part of California you grew up in?
The East Bay area. So like specifically like 15 minutes outside Oakland, like a city called Castro Valley.
What was it like growing up?
And I was about, my parents were divorced, so like my dad
Yeah.
lived in like Hayward, Castro Valley, and my mom lived in a town called Pleasanton. And I went to school in Pleasanton.
Okay.
And then once I had graduated and shit from like high school, then I had moved over with my dad and lived in like Castro Valley for like 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, before I like had to leave for the army and shit.
So, what was growing up out there like?
It was cool. It was chill. I mean, the school I went to continuation school the last 2 years because I was just never did any homework.
So you were a bad kid?
Yeah,
or just not?
yeah, I was bad, man.
Shit.
I went to continuation and shit. Nah, but it kind of sucked because like I was, you know, I never like did any drugs and shit like that. Never like I never had problems. But the kids I went to school with, dude, like in California, like it was all like, are you guys familiar with like Sureños, like Mexican mafia type shit?
Yeah.
So it was like, I mean, the big thing there was they were like Southsiders and shit like that. So there was a little bit of that going on in the school, and mind you, the school population is like 200 kids maybe.
Damn. Really?
Yeah, dude, it was real tiny.
Like high school?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
But well, I mean, the first high school I went to, that was like 3,000 kids or something like that.
Yeah.
But like over here and at the continuation school, yeah, it was like 200. So like everybody knows everybody. So it's like one of those things too, where like, you know, everybody's doing drugs and shit like that, selling drugs, like fucking smoking weed in the bathroom and shit.
Yeah.
You know, real bad kids. But yeah, so actually the school it's kind of funny. They would actually let students smoke cigarettes if they smoked. Like, yeah, it was really weird. They would just like make them go like 50 feet away from the building and shit.
Huh.
And like, you know, but I mean, because they knew kids are going to do it, you know, so they're just like, we know you're going to do it. Just be respectful of the fucking building and shit. But yeah, I mean, it was like, because what happened was kids were smoking in the bathroom and shit. And it was just like, you know, they were having to lock that shit down. I had my little group of metalhead friends and shit, you know, that we all kind of like, you know, lived in different cities and shit, but you know, we all like saw each other, hung out, played airsoft, like I said, you know, and like, a majority of us joined the military.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was cool.
So you were always kind of straight edge growing up?
Pretty much, yeah.
Is that difficult?
Not really, because like I had a lot of friends that got like heavy into it. Like I'm talking like 16 years old, they're like doing shrooms and shit, like fucking acid and shit, and like one of them, sadly enough, like got into heroin like at like 17, 18 years old.
Yeah.
And like I just watched what that shit did to him, and I'm like, dude. I mean, he's still alive. Like I'm pretty sure he quit, but it's like, dude, getting into hard drugs at that age, it's like, dude, fuck that. Like, crazy, man.
I back on, like, I even started smoking weed mad young. I started smoking weed at like 16.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, that was way too young to be doing any of that.
You don't think about it either. Like when you're
like,
you know, you're just like around it in the moment as a kid, and you're just like, yeah, fuck it, you know.
Yeah, you don't think about like how your brain's still developing, your body's still developing, and
dude.
stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I'm glad I like waited before I even like tried anything.
Yeah.
Like till I was like, you know, my mind was developed, you know, and I could like understand what's happening and shit.
Now, is it kind of just like real easy to stay away from it now because you've always just been stayed away from it?
Yeah,
I know
pretty
the music
much.
industry, there's a lot of pressures, especially drugs and music are kind of, unfortunately, go hand in hand. So,
oh my god! So I just got off tour with Oni Inc. Do you know who Oni Inc. and Witch House 40K?
Witch House 40K, yeah, I love that Witch House 40K.
Yeah, so he was on the tour. So shout out Oni Inc. and shout out Witch House 40K. Oni Inc. put the entire tour together just for the West Coast. Yeah, I went on tour with them, and they had a DJ named Citrus too that was touring with us as well. But yeah, dude, like weed and dabs, bro. That's all these guys did all tour long, and it's not difficult to be around. But they were all like giving me shit. They're like, dude, you know, like you say these lines in your song, man. You gotta smoke this with us at least once, man. By the end of the tour, I'm like, nah, man, I'm chilling, man. I'm good.
I've always had respect for people who can kind of stay away from that, because I even find it hard to say no now to like getting off or stopping smoking as much. You know what I mean? It was very difficult.
Yeah.
It's just like, damn. Kind of wish I never got into smoking heavy because like it was so hard to get off of it. People say weed's not addicting, but you're addicted to the act of smoking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's where the addiction comes into play. But I mean, like weed's not necessarily. I mean, it's not bad.
It's not. I'm just stopping mainly for like health reasons. Smoking anything in general is bad for you. Like, you know what I mean?
Just for sure.
Inhaling anything is bad for you. It's just I don't need to be doing it all day every day. And
dude. Some people, man, fuck, dude. Some people just never stop.
What was like early influences, music? What were you listening to early on?
Like just in general, like metal, hip hop, all that shit. Yeah,
like what bands, artists
were
you into growing up?
I kind of named some of them in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like I got started. Let me try to think. Like when I really, really, really started getting into music was
like what got you like really like obsessed with music and like like okay, I really want to do this
so
myself.
my cousin was like really into like at the time like Linkin Park, Slipknot, like all the new metal shit. You know, Mudvayne, Static X. So he showed me that when I was like young, like I don't know, probably like 5th or 6th grade. So I was probably like I don't know, 11 or 12 or something like that. And he like started showing me all these bands and shit. So I used to like go to his house and like with his little CD player and shit. And I used to just run through all those CDs and just watch him play video games. Like didn't even want to play the video games. Just like listen to music and shit. That's pretty much when I knew like I just found myself literally with headphones on all the time. And I'm like, yeah, I think like this is something that I want to do as I, get older and shit. And then obviously, listening to that type of shit, I got into like even heavier shit when I got into like I started meeting other people that listened to heavier shit and they're like, yo, have you ever heard of Cannibal Corpse? And I'm like, oh shit, no, what's this? So I like listen and I'm like, oh fuck, dude, like, and it just gets heavier and heavier and heavier from there.
Your interest started to develop more
basically,
and more.
Yeah. So like now, dude, like I go super deep with like all different types of metal. I like to think that I'm pretty well versed in like hip hop and trap too. I know of a lot of like, underground like hip hop and trap artists as well, obviously, especially because I'm fucking in it. But yeah, as far as like especially for what I do, like I said, like Waka Flocka was a big influence. And actually, I had his I got into Waka Flocka when I was in Afghanistan. Like, I know it's fucking weird, right? So like those little they have like those little you ever been to those gas stations that sell like the little old school mixtapes and shit? Yeah. So I had Salute Me or Shoot Me 2 and LeBron Flocka James 3. And it was like in these little shitty fucking little like somebody printed that shit out of like a really shitty printer. Yeah. But I remember hearing that shit, those mixtapes back in the day, and was just
you got those mixtapes in Afghanistan?
Yeah, dude.
That's crazy.
Like from like these little like shops and shit. And like, dude, we would always like exchange hard drives and shit, with people and stuff like that. Yeah. So, I mean, like, you got to think these countries too, they're like, they're into Western culture and shit.
Yeah,
like,
Western culture and like American culture, like entertainment wise, is the most
everybody knows what the fuck that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that was how I got into like Waka Flocka and shit. And like I played the fuck out of both of those albums and or those mixtapes rather. And then like DMX, is another real big influence and shit. But like nowadays I find myself listening to, I guess like some of the newer stuff that's out there. Like listen to a little bit of Scarlord. I try not to be like a fanboy of any of these artists and shit, Yeah. But yeah, some Scarlord's cool. And like
shout out Scarlord.
Yeah, and some City Morgue is also pretty fire. I like the earlier shit more.
Yeah. Love City Morgue.
But yeah. And then obviously I'm like pretty big into like the funk shit now. If you guys follow any of that, like the Memphis funk.
No, I'm not.
Really?
No, actually not.
Yeah.
Familiar.
Okay. Yeah. No. So like I listen to like I don't really listen to like any of the Memphis rappers, unfortunately. Like I'm really into like kind of like the newer shit. Mm-hmm. It's like a lot of like it's producer heavy. It's like not based around vocals and shit. But yeah, so and a lot of those guys I started like working with like Ghostface Playa and Pharmacist and shit.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah. So and they actually, to be honest, shout out to both of them because they like really helped me out, like give me their platform to do my thing on and like, because like like yelling on those types of beats, on like cowbell funk beats and shit like that. That's not even like a thing.
Yeah,
you know, it was never a thing. And like when I would like go to like promoters and like ask them if they, you know, wanted to promote it, at first they were like, no, this is not funk. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, man, I'm trying to do my style on these beats. That's what I'm doing, you know?
Just taking inspiration from it.
It's
dude. Like evolving,
so,
you gotta evolve sound.
Yeah,
eventually.
I'm trying to be original. This was original to me, you know?
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, I mean, so at first people kind of shunned it. And I dropped this track in January of last year called Masvidal, after the UFC fighter.
That's my favorite song of yours.
Yeah.
I'm a huge MMA fan, bro.
Dude, same.
I'm a massive MMA fan.
Same. I'm a big fan of Masvidal too, man. So and he's got a fight coming up.
He did get fucked up by Usman.
He did, dude. Oh my god.
That was the most vicious right hand. Oh my god.
I could like I had so many people like texting me. I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't bet on that fight because I would have bet on Masvidal and I would have lost.
I still remember when he fucking knocked out Ben Askren.
Oh, dude, yeah, you can't live that shit down. You literally, he ended that dude's career.
Yeah,
literally ended. Ben Askren's
that was
career.
it. That was it. After that,
there's no more Ben Askren after that.
Fucking.
Now you got that guy doing fucking Triller fights and shit.
Fat as hell, throwing the fight.
Like, dude, come on, man.
Flopping everywhere.
But
Ben Askren there was a time where he was a fucking serious force though.
Dude, yeah, like back in the day, but just not anymore.
The sport just evolved. He was just straight wrestling, you know what I mean? Now it's like, because it used to be like, the sport used to be, if you were a striker and you had no wrestling, wrestlers gonna fuck you up every time.
Yeah.
Now the strikers got so good at takedown defense, like if you can't take him down, it doesn't matter. He's gonna piece you up. Like,
exactly.
Masvidal's got pretty good takedown defense too. So.
Yeah, I always thought he was like a well-versed fighter. I spent a lot of time, like when I was writing that song, especially going back and looking like through, because like when I said that line, I knew who he was and like that one thing that he had done ended a dude's career off in like 2 seconds. So I knew that much, and it kind of just flowed with it. So I'm like, I think I'm gonna like kind of build this entire song around Masvidal. And so I started, watching his old fights and shit. I'm like, damn, this dude's been fucking people up.
Dude, you should, if you get a chance, go through his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of old street fights and stuff.
Dude. No, I saw those too with like Kimbo Slices and some of those fucking things. Yeah. Shit's crazy.
It's crazy. And he shows all like his gym videos. Stuff like that. His YouTube channel is dope.
Yeah. Easily one of my favorites. Win or lose, doesn't matter. Like,
he's a fan favorite too.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of fanfare for him. He's gonna be around for a while. He's just again a well-versed fighter. That's always the base you have to have. He's starting to get
heavy into politics now and shit too. You see that?
Really?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he's like fucking going at, like he was on CNN yesterday for calling out like Nancy Pelosi on some shit. Yeah, dude. And shit's wild, dude. Yeah, he's doing crazy shit now.
Hey, if you got a platform, I mean,
I guess so.
I guess you know what I'm saying.
And you guys see he just started Game Bread FC too.
I didn't. I saw Khabib started Eagle FC. I didn't see that he started.
Yeah,
something.
he's got, and it's on. I can't remember what station they air it on, but they're on like Game Bread FC 3 or 4, I think already. But it's bare knuckle MMA.
Oh, it's bare knuckle MMA. Not even bare knuckle boxing.
Not bare knuckle boxing. Not like BKFC, dude. Straight like bare knuckle MMA, dude. These dudes are like destroying each other, dude. It's nuts. It's literally nuts.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, dude.
But shit, so you grew up California.
Yep.
Moved to went into the military after continuation school.
Yep.
In Atlanta, toured. After tour, you decided. What made you decide to settle in Atlanta?
Well, I just did the tour just recently.
Okay.
So we're kind of not doing this chronologically.
The tour in Iraq.
That tour in Afghanistan.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I thought you meant a music tour. Yeah. So after I got out of the army, so I was married. She was from here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, so that's
when did you meet her? You met her here when you were in the military?
Dude, I met her online.
Met her online?
Yeah, dude, we met on this fucking site called Plenty of Fish, dude. It's fucking...
That's crazy.
Nuts, bro. I'm like, I didn't even know you could find real people on this fucking website.
That's crazy how online dating is like really becoming like a standard thing.
Well, I mean, you got to think, dude, this was like over 10 years ago. This was like, 2011. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was almost 11 years ago.
Damn.
Crazy, yeah. That was like just meeting her was like about 11 years ago now. Yeah, wild shit. So yeah, she was from like a little suburban city called Flowery Branch originally, and so we had nowhere else to go when I had like got out. So we just like we got rid of our little house that we had out there, and we just took all of our shit and moved down here.
Yeah.
And like I said, I kind of, before I decided to like go to music school and shit, I was kind of like fucking around, kind of just trying to find a way to make a decision and shit, playing a lot of video games and shit.
Yeah.
You know how that goes.
You kind of just at the time just kind of decided if you wanted to do music or.
Yeah, it was like if I wanted to commit, I guess. I don't know. It was weird. Like I said, I was like messing around a lot. Like, the other big thing was like I had a job when I first got out. Well, first I couldn't even find a job, and then a comic book store hired me.
Hey,
and
book stores,
I mean, it was dope. It was dope. I mean, I worked there for like almost 2 years, so I mean, it was for what it was. I mean, it was all right. Wasn't bad, but yeah. So once I started going to school, though, I fucking got rid of all that shit.
Yeah,
just started trying to do music full time.
Hey, I mean, you stayed in the military, you got the GI Bill.
Yeah,
They give
exactly.
you like housing allowance. They got you with the college tuition covered, all sorts of shit.
Exactly.
Man.
But then after that, though, like last year, basically, when I was like completely done, like there was no more GI Bill, no nothing, dude. Like reality fucking set in, and like I'm like, damn. I'm going to really have to like try to become like an entrepreneur and like make money.
So
it was either go back to Amazon, which was the job that I had like right after, well, it was like shortly after I had graduated, or it was either go back to Amazon or like try to just sell a bunch of features, make this shit work. So last year, dude, that was what I did. I just sold crazy amounts of fucking features. Dude.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna go into next. So at this point where you're deciding reality hit, is that when you kind of went on the grind for music?
Yeah, and that pretty much happened like last year. Like I said, dude. I think last year I might have sold like something like 60 features, dude. Like paid ones. Like because I had to pay bills, dude. And my car broke down, so I had to buy a new car. Bought a new car like off of features. It's fucking nuts.
And then
and I didn't even realize that people cared that much about me at that time because I'd been at it for a few years up until that point, but I didn't realize like people were willing to pay like mad money to have me on their song. And so once I realized like, damn, I can live off this shit for a minute, I was like milking the fuck out of it, which was not a good thing to do. Like 10 out of 10, do not recommend.
Yeah, I always tell
stressful
newer artists, especially I'm managing an artist right now.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of people hit him up for features. And I tell him, like I said, long term, you're going to regret it.
Yeah, and I 100% do. But I mean, I had to do what I had to do.
You had to do it. Like, I mean, you're here now.
Yeah, man. And like, we'll get into this, obviously, this what I'm about to mention, but I'll mention him now. Swig. Shout out Swig, man.
It's coming up.
My manager. Yeah. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, I was talking to him about that, when I first met him. I'm like, dude, yeah, I sold like mad features and that shit was a mistake. It's like, well, it's already done. I mean, but I'm like, yeah, dude, I fucking regret that shit. Cause I mean, yeah, there's a lot of them where the artist is just like,
not so great.
They got money, but it's like, and a lot of times I would try to raise my price to kind of raise the quality of clientele.
Yeah.
But dude, sometimes
the people that got money aren't the talented
Yeah, dude,
ones.
it doesn't matter. Yeah, sometimes motherfuckers got $500, So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did hella features and
how much of your own music did you drop last year?
I dropped quite a bit actually. I dropped because I was dropping once a week, which is also insane. But I tried to make it so that I was dropping at least one to two solo tracks amongst like other like main artist collabs and shit that we're dropping and all that stuff. That became a real big thing last year. People wanted to drop like, Sinizter and, so and so it shows up on both profiles and shit.
Yeah.
But I still try to do that now, but like I just recently announced again, in light of a conversation that I had with Swig to like, we made it here to a certain point, like we got to fucking slow the fuck down now. Yeah,
especially on the features. And
not even just that especially.
Oh, and dropping music.
Yeah, and dropping music, dude. Like I gotta make that. I gotta be but it's forcing me now to be select about what I drop. So now I want to drop the best shit, not just like, oh yeah, here's another song. Like,
is that how you got your initial following? Just by quantity? essentially.
Yeah, but like the thing was it was quantity and I was putting out quality. Like,
Oh yeah, no,
I
I'm not
to
talking your quality.
I don't mean to toot my own horn or anything, man. But I have like a good engineer, you know.
I listen back. I'm not knocking your quality of all songwriting is good. The songs are all good. But is that how you originally started to see a spike in your fan base?
Oh yeah,
kept
dude.
Dropping.
Yeah, like and so like initially when I first started, it's kind of like, I don't know, when a shark smells blood type shit. You know, you just get that first taste of like, damn, like all these people are fucking with me, and I've been dropping for a month straight every week. I'm like, I'm gonna do this shit all fucking year.
When did you start to notice you were accumulating? Because you obviously start music, you don't have any fans.
Yeah.
When did you start to accumulate an actual fan base?
Okay, so in 2018, there was this old channel called No Bands who used to do like these versus videos. Mm-hmm. And he did a versus video that was called Scarlord. You can still watch it. It's got like almost.
It is on there. I saw that video.
It's got almost 500,000 views right now. But it went crazy at first. But it was Scarlord versus Sinizter versus Illikami. And the comments are so split on that thing. Like some people are like, "Yo, fuck that Sinizter guy," you know, like fucking poser, all this shit, you know. But then there's other people that are like, "Yo, I fuck with him," like. So that was like half the comments at first. There was a lot of people that were hating on me in those comments that like came back and were like, dude, you actually like, you got better.
Yeah.
You're like, that's crazy. Like,
so that kind of gave you an initial spike because you said that was what, 3 years ago?
It was 3 years ago. And
so that was when
I went from like 400 subscribers to literally like 2, 3, 4K over like a 2-month period.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that was like the initial fan. Because
the initial following, yeah.
Time was when those artists, people were really searching up for Zilla.
100%.
So they see this other dude, they're like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah, and that's what it was.
And then the genre at that time was really starting to pick up that kind of sound.
Yeah, that ship has kind of sailed now, so it's kind of like you gotta change up the the style and the sound and shit, So that's kind of why I'm branching out and experimenting more with different shit.
And then you said this was 3 years ago. So you said you said last year you were focused on dropping a lot.
Yeah. Last year, like I was dropping a lot in 2019, 2020 as well. Mm-hmm. But like last year I had dropped more music than I've ever had in my entire career. Okay. And I probably had like the most impact like in terms of growth and shit during last year.
Now, what made you want to slow up this year? Just be more calculated with your approach?
Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, I had a conversation with Swig like literally just a few days ago. Mm-hmm. He's my manager, for those of you guys who don't know. And yeah, pretty much a chunk of the conversation was like, look, if you're doing 120 on the highway and I'm sitting next to you and like we made it to our destination, bro, like you can slow the fuck down now. You know what I mean? And that's basically what it was. And I was like tunnel visioning it for so long because like I saw so much growth and so much success, but it's like you can only maintain that for so long before, I mean, sure, each song is different, but like people get fucking sick of you after a while. Yeah. And I low key knew that, but didn't want to accept it. Mm-hmm. So like having somebody kind of like, okay, let's look at the analytics and let's look at what's happening and like really show me, I'm like, okay, yeah, you're totally right. Like, I don't need to be dropping this much.
It's just gonna get washed out after a while. 100%. People are gonna be like, "Oh, this guy's dropping again."
He's like, what I mean? Like you're not letting your releases breathe, and like, we gotta like let your listeners and shit focus on the shit that you're dropping now.
It's like a game of chess. Music is incredibly hard, but it's like a game of chess. Like the first strategy in the game was to flood the scene essentially.
And that's
second
what I was
strategy
doing.
is to slow up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's like a game of chess. But when did you get in touch with Swig? Shouts to Swig, by the way.
Yeah,
All But
dude.
Six management, Puya's tour manager, manages Kill Switch, and now has picked up. I know you said you're not under All But Six, but you are under Swig and Mikey.
Yeah. So, dude, it was really weird. So I met Swig on Instagram through Kill Switch. I think I had just gone to his Instagram, saw he was also a vet, and like just reached out and I said some like,
you guys gotta have that in common.
Yeah,
we were talking about that in the car.
Dude.
On the way up,
so
like,
they gotta
get along real well.
Very, very weird, dude. So I hit him up on just some super casual, totally unrelated shit. I'm just like, dude, thanks for your service. I'm like, it's really cool to see that you're like you jump straight into managing now. So like artist management and shit. And, he responded to it and we kind of just, we're shooting the shit for a little bit, just about, military shit. And he was like telling me where he was stationed at and stuff like that and vice versa. And the conversation just kind of ended from there. And this was like 7 months ago. Mm-hmm. And after that, like, I guess he just like, he stayed following me and just like kept tabs on me and shit. And we had not talked at all really up until he hit me up a couple weeks ago. And I'll never forget it because I was binge watching The Witcher on my couch, dying from COVID. And it was like 9 o'clock at night, 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And him and Mikey both hit me up at the exact same time. Like my phone goes off twice, and I like look at my phone, and I'm like, oh shit! I'm like, I see Mikey the Magician come across, and like Ant Swig. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, what are these dudes hitting me up for? You know? And it was just like, Mikey was responding to a DM that I had sent him back in December about like just getting beats and shit. But I mean, he was on that that Kill Switch tour and shit. So obviously he was busy and shit. But yeah, he was like, dude, you're killing it, whatever. He's like, yeah, I'd love to work with you, and like, we like. Just here's my number, like hit me up. And then when I looked at Swig's message, it was like, yo, like I want to get on like a phone call with you and just like, just talk, like, maybe we can like, see what we can have to offer you type shit. So the next day we jumped on a FaceTime call, and I mean, the rest is pretty much history. Everything sounded good, and I already knew who they were and shit. So, and Swig had been in Mikey's ear about me, and that was, I guess, kind of what made them even consider working with me and shit.
Yeah.
So, and they, like I said, so what I'm signed to is their publishing company, AM Publishing. That's Swig and Mikey's company. And Swig kind of just took it upon himself to, offer to manage me as well. So I just got fucking lucky is what happened.
Yeah, Swig's a good guy too. You know what I mean? They got Kill Switch right, so I can only imagine they're going to put you in the right position too.
Yeah,
so they got Kill Switch right where he needed to be.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, yeah, he manages all kinds of people, dude. That dude's everywhere, everywhere, and you don't even know it. So yeah, he's a good dude.
Mikey's a great producer too.
Oh, dude, I cannot wait, man. As of this interview, we haven't worked on anything yet, but it's coming.
Yeah, man. I'm supposed to interview Mikey too, and it was funny. I feel like such a jackass because I like Mikey, right? Yeah. I always loved his beats, since I heard him. MTM, hit with the heat. Like since I heard that tag, been following it, but I never knew what he looked like. So he was on tour at Fort Lauderdale, and Fat Nick is to my right, and Swig is to my left, and we're talking, dude. And Mikey's in front of me.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was Mikey at the time.
Yeah, at
all. And if I knew it was him, I would have been like, "Yo, what's up?" But like, Mikey, I'm not a jackass, bro. You're fired. But like, right? So like, I was doing questions on my personal Instagram page, and someone's like, "Yo, who are you looking at? Who's your favorite producers right now?" I said, "Mikey, Magician, Wendigo," and I started Virus, Antidote, kept naming off people and stuff like that. And then Mikey saw the story, liked it, and then followed me.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because I guess he probably recognized me from the Kill Switch interview or the tour. And I look at his page, I'm like, yo, that was him, like right in front of me. I feel like such a fucking jackass, bro. He's literally standing right in front of me, and I just didn't talk to him.
Hilarious.
I'm like, damn.
Dude, honestly, you know what? That kind of doesn't surprise me because he's actually pretty low key.
Yeah.
And like even when I talk to him, dude, he's like a normal ass fucking dude.
Oh yeah.
Which like kind of tripped me out because you would think like somebody at his level would be like, just wilding out, all up in the fame and all up in the whatever they got going on and shit. But no, dude, he's like super chill, super laid back. He's like ready to be like a mentor and shit, So that's both him and Swig, dude, are just like fucking bottles of knowledge, dude. Just fucking nuts.
Shit, fucking guns. And I know you love your Smith and Wesson. You got a little collection?
Currently, no.
Currently,
no. That's why I'm always rapping about old Smithy. Yeah, dude. The Smith and Wesson was the first gun that I had like really purchased. And so it's a 9mm.
Yeah.
I carry like the rip rounds, radically invasive projectile rounds. They're like the serrated tip, not hollow points. They're like the serrated tip ones. But man, shout out Georgia, man, because
I got hollows.
Get the little concealed carry out here, man. Travel around safely.
Dude, we Americans are weird.
Yeah, man.
So I was talking to Bad. I was interviewing Bad. He's talking about knife crime. I'm like, wait, what?
Dude,
I guys talk about knife crime.
Dude, I've heard in the UK that shit is serious.
Yeah, we
dude.
don't even like think about knife crime out here. It's all gun violence.
Yeah, literally. Dude.
Like I don't have my Glock on. I have a Glock Glock 48.
Okay,
yeah. I don't have it with me. And I felt like I was talking to Jordan, like I feel like naked. Like I don't have it coming down here. Like
I have to look at it again, but I remember back in the day when I first got my my Georgia concealed carry. It's there's like certain states that it still like applies, like it's still valid. The Carolinas, I'm pretty sure was
North Carolina is one of them I don't have my concealed yet.
Oh, okay, yeah. Maybe it's different for North Carolina to Georgia, but Georgia and South Carolina, I know.
I mean, I could say this because I'm about to move out of North Carolina.
Yeah.
I haven't had my concealed. I've been concealing for years. Haven't worried about it. Fuck it. But I'm moving out of North Carolina to New Hampshire now, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But after this interview drops, probably gonna be coming back to North Carolina. But when I do, I'll get my concealed. New Hampshire is dope because we don't have you don't have to need a permit to conceal. You can conceal that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can conceal. Well, I think we're the only state.
I was
maybe
say
Texas that you can seal
Tennessee
without.
Is kind of like that too, because I was kind of like out in that area. Like I was stationed in Kentucky, but it's like right next to Tennessee.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, they literally anybody. Like you don't even need a license. You can just walk into a store, buy a gun.
Yep,
Like,
New Hampshire's the same way.
Yeah. Like Tennessee's pretty fucking lenient too when it comes to gun laws.
Shit. Yeah.
But yeah, dude, the Smith and Wesson raps, dude. Like it's. Like I tend to rap about shit that I own because I don't like rapping about things that's just like you don't want people to listen to you and be like, oh, that's cap, man. Like, he's never done that. He doesn't own that, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So like when people are like, you rap about very specific shit. Do you really own a pair of Gucci's? I'm like, yeah, of course. Like that's why I rap about them. That's why I rap about specifically. You'll hear me say like spiked out Gucci's is because I don't mean to be on my Soulja Boy shit, but I know Chapo and Witch House got the spiked Gucci boots, but I think I had them shits first, man. I don't know. What kind of shits in 2019, man?
What inspires you? Well, like, what inspires you, like, to write a song? Like, where do you pull inspiration from?
For lyrics and shit, it can be like, it could just be real life shit. It depends on the type of song that I'm writing, really. Because if I'm writing like some real ignorant trap shit, dude, like, I mean, the inspiration could literally come from anywhere. Like, I'm at a certain point, I might be like making shit up while like, I don't know, just talking shit basically.
Yeah.
Just talking shit like, and rhyming, and, adding in some metaphors, some cool metaphors and shit, but other than that, but if I'm like, I got a track actually dropping tomorrow called Suffer Well. And it's like, I kind of say like, it's like the realest shit I ever wrote type song. And that's more like deep and sentimental and shit like that. It's over kind of like a little lo-fi, like a little boom bap beat.
Okay. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. It's like way softer. It's kind of like Bones type shit, I guess you could say. But that's like more serious where I'm talking about just like, how I actually feel inside and shit like that, sharing more of like a different side of me. And so I guess like it kind of depends on the mood of the beat, really.
Yeah.
Depending, that'll kind of determine what I end up like talking about and how I go about the approach and shit. So
Okay.
Yeah.
We got about 10 minutes left. Anything we have to talk about that you want to add?
Shit, no. I mean, we covered like the biggest thing, which was the whole Swig and Mikey thing. Like, that's like gonna be a game changer for 2022 for sure.
No, definitely, definitely,
and something that I'm like super excited about. I'm super excited to start working with Mikey and shit, which should be happening pretty soon. So,
Mikey's got that magic touch, man.
Dude, I cannot wait, dude. Like,
he's got that magic touch,
dude. There was two producers when I first like entered the scene in like 2018, arguably. Flexitelli was one of them, and I got big shout out to Flexitelli because he started working with me, dude, when I was nobody. So shout out to him. But yeah, Mikey was the other one that I was like, dude, but he was like so fucking big at that point. I mean, Flexitelli's big, but like I guess Mikey just fucking he's got just credits for days, man. And it's just like holy shit, dude. And so
fucking talented.
and hard to get a hold of, really, like if you're not in his like circle, basically. So
that's why I'm so glad he answered me. You see, like, because I wanted to interview him, get him on, so I was like trying to figure out how to ask him for like a while. And then he just followed me and like responded to my story. I'm like, yo, that's fire. I'm like, so he's good ass dude.
Yeah. He's super chill, super nice. But yeah, just a very exclusive guy. So I feel lucky.
Yeah, definitely same.
Feeling lucky, man. I'm feeling confident going into this new year, man. So, with them two behind me and shit, so kind of like coaching and steering the ship a little bit. So, we're gonna see what happens.
What keeps you going? What keeps you motivated? Like what makes you want to keep getting up and keep going at this shit every day?
When new events like this take place, like last year, it was like, I had a few consistent songs like really like at that time go crazy and kind of had some traction on them. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep cranking these out. And like this year, I'm like, damn, I'm not going to lie, man. Before they hit me up, when I got back from that tour, because the tour was in January, the West Coast one, dude, I was so tired. And then when like, I had COVID too on top of that. So like, I was just like, oh my God, like every day was miserable. And I'm just like, I have so much shit, like songs that I want to record and shit, ideas and all this. But I'm like, I'm also not really hearing beats that I'm super inspired by, which is a big thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like thinking to myself, dude, I don't know how I'm going to get through the rest of this year. And then literally they fucking hit me up and I'm like, that's the motivation I needed, dude. It just like reignited the spark. And I'm like, now I'm like doing it for them too, cause like, they're riding for me now. So it's like, I'm all right.
So there were definitely moments where you're like, oh shit, this might not work.
Oh yeah. Occasionally. Well, I wouldn't say it like might not work, but it might not work the way I want it to, you know, because it's weird, dude. Like there's a lot of artists in this scene, man. So
dude,
sometimes you think like, why me?
With the prominence of the internet now.
Oh, dude.
And how easy and accessible it is to record and upload a fucking song.
Dude.
Like, think about like
there's a new rapper every day.
Yeah, think about like when we were kids compared to this new generation. Like, how many albums did you look forward to in a year when we were kids? 4 or 5?
Yeah, like a handful.
You know what I mean? Now it's like every week there's like 5 albums.
Yep,
literally. And you're like, holy shit,
it's flooded.
Like,
flooded.
Yeah. But shit, what do you gotta? What advice would you give to like newer artists who are looking to break in? Because there's so many people who just can't seem to get over. And the first thing I always tell people is, bro, the first thing is good music. If you got good music, somebody's going to find it. Somebody's going to talk about it. Somebody's going to share it.
Definitely.
Like, that's step one.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. The quality, for sure. And if you're not good, like, keep working, keep, like, trying to develop and get better at your craft before. Honestly, I would even say before you're even putting out music, like hella music and shit. Try to become good at the craft first because, dude, there's some fucking monsters in this scene. And when you jump into this, like, people don't want to talk about it, but I'm going to say exactly what it is. Like, there's a little bit of competition, man. You're trying to compete, and you're not competing for, like, one's better than the other. What you're competing for is spotlight and attention.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And in order to compete for that, your product, your quality, it's got to be good. If it doesn't weigh up to, the big artists that are out there, it's not going to get heard. It's not going to get picked. It's not going to get talked about. You know what I mean? So what I would tell anybody is be patient with yourself and work hard and just try to be as consistent as possible. And by consistency, I mean, like, even if you're not recording, get up and like write to a beat. Just write. You don't even have to record the shit. Just write it. Because in my opinion, man, I feel like, at least for me, maybe it's not like this for everybody else. For some people, like, writing and rapping comes second nature. But like for me, I have to work at it. So for me, it's kind of like a muscle that I have to exercise. You know what I mean? Like, as far as writing and coming up with lines and bars and shit like that, because I'm not even going to say, dude, I'm not the best lyricist. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's like other people that are infinitely better than me and can just rap their fucking ass off. But, I work with what I got, and I've been consistent for a number of years now. So, I mean, I got a little something going now. So, but it took that long to get to that point. It didn't just kids nowadays, especially younger people, have like this thing that everything is instant because of the age that we live in.
Yeah.
Everything's instant.
Fast food.
Everything's instant. You can get fucking Amazon or Uber or whatever delivered right to your door, in the same day, So people just expect, oh man, I just dropped my first single, check it out. It's going to go crazy. And it's like, you haven't even set foot off your front porch yet. You know what I mean? Like, you got a lot of work to do.
Speaking of setting foot off your front porch, how important would you say your experiences outside of music are towards the actual music? A
lot. I get a lot of artists. I'm not gonna lie, and again, I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything like that because it just is what it is. But there's a lot of bigger artists too that are just they're young, Mm-hmm. So like a lot of people like call me up for advice, even like some of your favorites. I'm not gonna name names, but yeah. But yeah, a lot of people like hit me up for life advice or music advice or whatever. And I think part of it is just because I'm a little bit older, I've like I've been through a lot of shit, and they know that. So, they'll be like, how do you handle this? How do you handle this type of shit? And I'll just kind of just talk to them, just like on some super chill shit. I don't want anything from them or anything like that. So, I guess they just feel comfortable to be open with me about that. But yeah, I mean, it definitely makes a difference especially in like how I carry myself, and I try to be a little bit more professional and like an adult.
Yeah.
You know, so
You are like a little bit older than some people in the scene. So how would you say, age kind of affects mentality of artists? Because you said you kind of around like 2019-ish, 2020 really started to see an uptick. Did you think as you were getting older it might not work out? Do you think age kind of plays into the mentality of people who are trying to make it in music?
I think it depends, because like for me, I retain a lot of my youth just like in how I dress, how I act, because like, yeah, I'm mature and shit, but I'm immature. I'm fucking around just like all, everybody else, you know what I mean? But I think, for sure, like, I think that the maturity is more of a mindset and the age is just a number.
Because honestly, that question is more or less just coming also from my personal experience. I'm 26, about 27, July 31st. Yeah. So I'm just like, fuck, am I getting too old to be doing this shit? This shit hasn't like ticked up yet. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, age is just a number, and like the maturity is a mindset. Like you can be, dude, I've met like 20-year-olds that are super fucking mature. You know what I mean? So like for their age, and you would think that they're my fucking age, but they're not, So it is what it is. And it's just, as long as like this is where it gets cringy, right? MGK. If you are past the age of, if you are 30 or older and you're rapping about emo girls, that's where you need to stop. That's where you're too old.
Bruh,
that is where you're too old.
Listen, I heard the pop punk album. And I don't think I'm ever gonna get an MGK interview. I really don't give a fuck as much. No. But I'm just like, bro, isn't this man like 33? It sounds like a high schooler wrote this album.
Yeah.
And like I kind of like, I'm not gonna lie, I liked a couple of songs off the album. I'm like, okay, it's not bad. I actually kind of liked it. Some like 2 songs off it. But like, it just the whole thing kind of felt like.
Yeah. I mean, and that's like I said, that's where you're too old to look a certain way, talk about certain shit in your music. Like, no, that's where it gets cringy. But dude, I mean, we're rappers. We, like dark shit. We're into dark shit. We rap about dark shit, whatever, man. I'm a metalhead. I've came up in that shit, so this is real to me. Like band shirts and a pair of jeans, obviously not these MSTs and shit, cause I wasn't around 15 years ago, but yeah, I mean, band shirts and a pair of jeans. That was what I wore every single day. That's what I still wear to this day. Yeah. So
that's kind of how I feel about Eminem, because there's a point where Eminem started coming out. I'm like, bro, are you 45? Why are you
it doesn't matter, man. Like,
no, it's just a subject matter.
Oh,
like, I have no problem with Eminem rapping at fucking 60, but it's just like, I don't know. There was a verse it was a Big Sean album. Everyone was like, Eminem's back, and I turned it on. I'm like, all right, because I haven't liked Eminem in like 10 fucking years.
Yeah.
Like all the music just coming out was cringy, and the first line I hear is, I sodomized like an ass raper. I'm like, bro, are you 50?
I mean,
like, and then it was just like, I don't know.
And here's the thing.
It just seemed try hard to me, and I was just like,
here's the other thing too. Last thing, because I know we got to wrap this shit up. But this isn't the only thing that I plan on doing throughout my life. I do want to eventually get into acting. Even if I got to start from an independent level, yeah, for sure. That's like my next goal that I want to do in the next, we'll say like 4 or 5 years type shit. And that's probably when I'll hang up the mic, like Sinizter will kind of just be the legacy, and then I'll move into something else. Cause like, you're right. Eventually you definitely do hit a point where you are too old for this. 30, I think, no, you still got a little bit of time.
And even then, you could still you could still tour when you get older. Yeah. You know what I mean? Be like, fans who want to
legacy,
because older artists still tour and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you couldn't drop music. It's just like I would like to see more of a maturity. In certain artists' music.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
It's just like Eminem at 50 rapping about the same shit he was at 20 is just not. It's not the same.
For some people, I guess. Yeah.
Like it's not.
I mean, he's still like a crazy lyricist. For sure. Like,
no, still one of the best. Absolutely.
Like, I listened to his new
battle rap, no one's touching that man. Dude. Period. Battle rap, no one's touching him.
But yeah, nah.
That's just the best example I come up with. There's tons of artists like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
No, man. Other than that, I mean, shout out Swig, shout out MTM, and shout out all my homies that I mentioned in this interview earlier, man. Witch House 40K, Oni Inc. Other than that, and yeah, check me out on Instagram, Spotify, Sinizter, Sinizter.
Word, this has been Cult Classic interview number 56 now. So appreciate you guys sticking with us. 56 interviews. You can watch this interview on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that shit. Go follow us on Instagram at KULT Classic Official. Cop some merch, KULTClassicofficial.com. And shit, that's it. Peace.